Hello, I'm Steve Weber, the host of Beatles Rewind. As always, I'm joined by my co-host and fellow Beatlemaniac, my partner Cassandra. Good morning, Cass.
Good morning. The energy is electric this morning, fit for a chart topper.
Cass, do you remember when the Beatles invaded America?
Not exactly, Steve, but I have a feeling you do. Am I right?
Yes, you are absolutely right. Today we're looking at, well, one of the most important documents in pop culture history, really.
We are. We're talking about the Maysles Brothers film of the Beatles' very first trip to America. That's February 1964.
And our goal here is to really understand this central paradox. The paradox of being the most famous people in the world, yet having so little high-quality footage.
Exactly, and how a very specific, a very unique filmmaking style managed to preserve their humanity right at that moment of global takeover.
And that paradox, it's the frustration for any fan, isn't it?
Oh, it's a huge frustration. You think about it. The Beatles were, without a doubt, the most famous, most documented, most charismatic people of the century.
Everyone had a camera on them. Or so you'd think.
Right. But then you go looking for good, sustained video footage from their absolute peak, say 64 to 66.
And what do you find?
You find fragments, bits and pieces that are poorly shot or just maddeningly incomplete.
It's a huge historical blind spot. The music, of course, the audio is incredible, but the visual record is so scattered.
Which is precisely why this Maysles film is so extraordinary.
It's like finding an oasis in the desert.
It is. It's a 2-week window where we get sustained, intimate film of them just existing, talking, joking when the cameras weren't supposed to be rolling,
It's visual gold.
Yeah.
And it really comes down to not just what they filmed, but how they filmed it.
That's the whole story. Albert Maysles on camera, David on sound. They were given this almost unrestricted access.
Right as the band was making that leap from British stars to global icons.
And this film, it became one of the most authentic records of Beatlemania being born on American soil.
So let's talk about that method, because it's crucial for you to understand why this footage is so different. The Maysles weren't just journalists.
No, not at all. They were pioneers of a movement called direct cinema.
Which was a pretty radical idea at the time.
Oh, completely. It was a total break from traditional documentaries, which, always had that booming voice of God narration or staged scenes.
The director telling people what to do.
Exactly. The Maysles rejected all of that. Their whole philosophy was to just be a fly on the wall.
Point the camera, roll film, and just observe.
Observe reality as it unfolded, completely unmediated. Their rules were strict. No voiceover, no interviews, and this is key. They never, ever asked the subjects to repeat something for the camera.
And you can see why that approach was perfect for the Beatles.
It was tailor-made for that chaos. Think about it. The second they landed, they were just swarmed by reporters all shouting, "Look here, smile, do this."
Constantly being forced to be on.
Always. But the Maysles, they didn't ask for anything. They didn't want a performance.
They just existed in the room.
And that's the psychological secret here. Because they just watched. The band finally relaxed. For the first time, maybe in weeks. The cameras weren't an intrusion that they had to respond to.
They just became part of the furniture.
That's what Albert Maysles called it, furniture. And that's how they got this incredible access that really was never granted again once the machine got bigger.
What's wild is that this perfect marriage of subject and filmmaker, it wasn't some grand plan. It was basically an accident.
A complete accident. It was an 11th hour job born from total chaos.
The company that commissioned it, Granada Television in Britain, they had another crew lined up.
They did, but just days, and I mean literally days before the plane was supposed to land at JFK, that whole arrangement it fell apart.
So Granada is scrambling.
Completely scrambling to cover what is about to be the biggest cultural story of the decade. And they turned to the Maysles, who were known in New York's art scene, but they weren't mainstream TV guys.
And that last-minute nature of it, that actually helped them.
It was probably the best thing that could have happened. If it had been planned for months, you would have had layers of management, restrictions from Brian Epstein's team.
Pressure to make it a standard promo piece.
Totally. Instead, the Maysles just showed up with their cameras and their philosophy. There were these indie guys in the middle of a hurricane, so the band they let their guard down.
And that's what gives us these moments, these unscripted, real moments.
Let's talk about some of them. The film starts with the plane landing at JFK.
Right, but what the Maysles captured was the look on their faces, that genuine shock.
Precisely. They knew there'd be press, but they had no idea.
Yeah.
No concept of the thousands of screaming fans on the tarmac. You see their expressions go from excitement to just wide-eyed bewilderment.
It's a real human reaction.
It is. Then you get the press conferences, which are just brilliant. The American reporters are asking these, frankly, inane questions.
And the footage just preserves that incredible shared wit. They're a unit, batting away the silliness.
But the real heart of the film, for me, is the stuff in the Plaza Hotel suite.
That's where the performance stops.
Completely. You see 4 young guys talking, joking, giving a roadie a close-up shave, getting haircuts, just downtime.
Those little details, the inside jokes, the relaxed posture, that's the camaraderie.
And it captures a kind of joy, a thrill that honestly gets a lot harder to find in the footage from later years when the exhaustion really set in.
And then there's the big one, the big limitation, the Ed Sullivan Show.
Ah, yes. The performance that changed everything. February 9th, 1964, 73 million people watching.
The largest TV audience in American history at that point. The moment the invasion became, well, assimilation.
But CBS, the network, they said no. They prohibited the Maysles from filming the actual performance.
They had the exclusive rights.
Yes.
And most filmmakers would have just packed it in.
But not them. True to their direct cinema roots, they improvised. They realized the story wasn't just the band on the stage.
It was the impact of the band on the culture.
Yes. So they took their gear out onto the streets of New York, found an apartment building where they could hear the show playing.
Knocked on a random door.
And asked if they could film the family inside watching their TV set.
Which, when you think about it, captured something maybe even more important than another angle on the band.
Oh, absolutely. By turning the camera around, they documented America watching, America reacting, America falling in love. It's the moment the phenomenon crossed the ocean and landed in the living room.
It shows the audience accepting the invasion. You can't get that from a stage shot.
Never. No amount of concert footage could replace that.
So if this footage is so incredible, it really begs the question, why is there nothing else like it? Why didn't anyone do this again in 65 or 66?
It was a mix of things. Technological and strategic hurdles, mostly.
Technology first. Film itself was just, it was so expensive.
Incredibly expensive. Not like today where you can just shoot endless digital video. Every single minute of film cost real money to shoot and to develop. And portable video was still really primitive.
Right. To get good quality, you still needed big, cumbersome equipment.
And then there was the strategic side. Brian Epstein and the band. They got a lot more sophisticated, a lot more controlling about access very quickly.
They understood the value of their image.
And they made sure most filming after that was strictly for promotional purposes. It was about crafting an image, not capturing reality.
And you see the results of that in all the surviving concert footage. It's just frustrating to watch.
It's so frustrating. The cameras are a mile away, the sound is a wall of distortion, and you can barely hear the music over the constant screaming.
It's why they couldn't even release the Hollywood Bowl recordings for decades. The tapes were just unusable because the audience was so loud.
Or you look at the Shea Stadium film. It's historic, sure, but they're just these tiny little figures on a huge stage, completely swallowed by the spectacle.
Which all brings us back to the Maysles film. It makes you feel this sense of, well, gratitude mixed with regret.
That's the perfect way to put it. Gratitude that these two filmmakers, with this specific philosophy, were in the right place at exactly the right time.
And the regret.
The regret is knowing that nobody else ever got that same access, that same trust during the other big moments. Imagine if someone had filmed the Revolver sessions with that same intimacy.
Or the creation of the Sgt. Pepper album.
Or just the human drama leading up to the rooftop concert. The music is the record of them as artists, but the dynamic of the 4 of them as people, that's largely lost, except for these few precious weeks in 1964.
The original film was called What's Happening? The Beatles in the USA. It later got a home video release as The Beatles, the first U.S. visit.
And its influence is huge. It really wrote the playbook for the modern rockumentary. It proved you could just point a camera at interesting people and capture something deeply human.
It preserved the 4 guys. Before the myth, before the fame became so heavy, it changed everything.
If you watch it, you feel like you're the 5th person in the room, just watching history unfold. It's as close as you can get.
Well, thanks for joining us today. Whenever you feel like knowing more about the Beatles, visit us at BeatlesRewind.com. Every day, we do something new there. Song reviews, album reviews, movie reviews, documentaries, trivia, all things Beatles. Every day, 8 days a week. You can find us on the website, BeatlesRewind.com. You can subscribe on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube, Amazon Podcasts, practically anywhere on the inner tubes. The Beatles, all day, every day. Cass, we'll do it again tomorrow.
Always, Steve. See you then.
Until next time, when you listen,
Your mind conducts its own symphony.